everyone, welcome to another episode of VALOR Fights. John Morehouse from MMA-Insider.com here, joined by Adam Primetime Townsend and Tyler Melee Minton. We're live here at the Smoky Mountain Convention Center, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, the house that VALOR built, the home base of this promotion. VALOR Fights 18, the second all-pro show in the history. Also, women's MMA action on the card this week. Amy Coleman, local favorite, making her professional debut against Ohio's Jessica Zomcik.
Amy Coleman, judo black belt, very strong competitor, known for her strength and her athleticism. Jessica Zomcik, on the other hand, very good at jiu-jitsu, very decorated jiu-jitsu, very good off her back. So we have someone who's really good at taking someone down, and someone who's really good once they get taken down. Should make for a really, really good grappling fight.
Our co-main event this week, it's really set for fireworks. Solon Staley from South Carolina going against another local favorite, Fit Factory's Josh Carter. Both these guys, gentlemen, they've got a reputation for finishing fights. We can see somebody getting knocked out, going to sleep, or submitting in that fight. A reminder, every fight you see this week is professional MMA. That means elbows and knees to the head are legal. All these fights are sanctioned by the Tennessee State Athletic Commission. All fights consist of 3 5-minute rounds. Each round scored on a 10-point must-scoring system. That means the winner of each round gets 10 points. The loser will get 9 or fewer. And these rounds are scored on effective striking, aggression, cage control, and grappling.
Up next, we kick things off with Judd Brown taking on Jeramie Hollway here on VALOR Fight.
I am Hollywood Josh Kate, and you're watching VALOR Fights on Fox 43.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, your next fight will be the VALOR welterweight division brought to you by Total Body Fitness. Your referee goes out. Will be Timothy Lee, choosing first. Fighting under the Hog's red corner. He brings in an undefeated record of 1 win, no losses. He weighed in 171 pounds. Playing against Superior Martial Arts in Connery, North Carolina, Jeramie Hollway. Standing across the cage, fighting on the OEP blue corner. Tonight he brings in a record of 0 wins, 0 losses with 1 no contest. He weighed in 171 pounds. Playing against Total MMA in Athens, Georgia, Judd Brown.
Two fighters with a reputation for being hard hitters, strikers. One of them is guaranteed that he's going to put the other one to sleep here. Judd Brown, Jeramie Hollway, pro action here at VALOR Fights 18. John Morehouse, Tyler Minton, Adam Townsend here calling all the action. Gentlemen, we've seen a head kick in 10 seconds. We've seen a head kick in 8 seconds. So who knows what we're going to see here between two guys who are known for knockout power.
I am definitely calling a knockout in this fight. Somebody's going to hit the ground right here.
Which means it'll probably go to decision.
Most definitely.
Or Von Flue choke.
This will be a wrestling match more than likely.
You know, Holloway, he does have Roger Carroll, BJJ black belt in his corner, so there's some ground skill there. Judd Brown said he's been working on some ground, but I mean, I think both of you guys know Judd. I mean, he's going to, if he has his druthers, he's going to want to stand and slug it out.
Most definitely, and I've watched the Holloway fight on YouTube and stuff like that and seen some of his fights. He's a very well-rounded fighter. Now he's switching stances and, trying to switch things up on Judd. He's a well-rounded fighter for sure. Don't care to throw, obviously.
Judd said in an interview with me on MMA-Insider.com, he said, I know this guy doesn't hit harder than me. I know he's not training as hard and just seems just supremely confident heading into this fight. And that's something you need, Tyler. You need that confidence.
You got to have the confidence, even if you're just full, you're trying to fake it till you do get it. You have to have that. You have to exude that, and it will translate a whole lot into the cage. If you go in already, believing that you lose, you often will.
Little front snap kick to the face, to the chin, and kind of staggered Holloway a little bit. Holloway's doing very good, switching stances and good footwork, but, he's leaning back with his chin up, and that's something you don't want to do, get somebody like Judd that comes forward like he does, I
feel like Brown's doing a really good job. Judd's doing a really good job of controlling the center of the cage. Holloway is bouncing around, a lot of good footwork, moving around, but Brown's taking that center and kind of seems to be holding it at this point.
Adam, you contributed to the picks on MMA Insider about this fight. What is it about Holloway that made you decide to pick him to win this fight?
I was just really impressed with the things that I saw him doing, and you know, he was going forward in all his other fights, and that's the thing he's not doing right now. When he goes forward, as you can see, he lands, but unless he goes forward, he's not going to land against somebody like Judd. So when he starts going forward, I think it'll help him out a lot. But until just like then, you see how he went forward and he landed, and then Judd was forced to back up. So that's what he needs to do more is go forward.
Speaking of head kicks, Judd Brown has an impressive head kick of his own over Dylan O'Sullivan last October in his final amateur fight.
Inside.
It's weird. Sometimes you see fights like this with strikers, and it might come down to who's better on the ground. We've all seen fights like that before.
Most definitely.
Anytime you got two guys that are kind of good at the same thing, it's always the guy who's going to pull out the better of the things that you wouldn't expect. A lot of times wins that fight because they're not expecting the guy to do that.
Adam, you've kind of trained with Judd intermittently, I guess, since he was first fighting, 18 years old, senior at Cherokee High School as an amateur. What are you seeing him right now as far as just the evolution of his style and his stand-up since those early days when he was just slugging it out?
Well, he started off training with Corey Popwell and Caleb Cup and them boys down there in Rogersville, and now he's down there in Athens with A Samples, and you know.
That staggered him. That staggered Judd. Judd is rocking. Oh, big knee. That's it. Judd is going to get finished here. I got a feeling, guys.
It's over. Stop the fight. Jeez Louise. Wow.
And a raucous celebration for Mr. Holloway.
Himself coming down.
Tower, that one combo there made all the difference. And we've got another big knockout here. And Judd Brown, I got to see some blood there. Definitely a rough outcome for him.
Holloway is super excited. He is pumped up. They're saying to calm down. Like I said, when he comes forward, he wins, and that's what I noticed about him from the jump. That watching his YouTube fights, when he comes forward, he puts people to sleep. He comes forward on Judd and put Judd to sleep. He lands some hard punches, and he's super excited, and I don't blame him for being that. But
I'm sorry, Adam. I don't know how much of it's water, but just from this vantage point, I'm just seeing a lot of red on Judd Brown right now. I'm not sure, but
after he got knocked out, he got some strict elbows, nasty slicing elbows through on his face, and this as a professional fighter, that's why you're in this game. You're in here to get this money and to get the win, and that's what he went. He went for the finish, man. He got it.
I hesitate to say this. I understand it is professional mixed martial arts, but I thought that fight went too long. I thought after the knee he went down. I didn't,
Well, he was mounted,
and he was saying stop the fight, Adam.
He let him take one punch too many. And being a judge, it's not that many, but he let him take one punch too many, and that's all. Judd was trying to defend himself. Judd was trying to, get out of mount. He got his head pushed down and got two elbows dropped on him. Nothing bad about the referee. It was just, he just got there one punch too late.
And another stunning first round stoppage finish here. If you like knockouts, Valor 18 has definitely been the place to be.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, referees are going to stop this fight. 2 minutes and 57 seconds into the first round. Your winner, by TKO in the left corner, Jeramie Hollway.
I'm here with your winner, Jeramie Hollway. Jeramie, nickname Hit Him. That's exactly what you did. Talk me through the fight.
It's that wide. I don't know, man. The entire day, the entire week, it didn't dawn on me that I was fighting until they just came to the back and said, hey, we bumped you up 2 more fights, so you did the second fight after the intermission. And then it was go time for me. I watched film on the kid. I knew he was a predominant striker, very heavy-handed, but I did my homework, and I was prepared tonight.
You looked amazing out there. Coming from Imperial MMA, is that right? Superior? Talk to me about your future. What's coming up next for you?
Oh, my future? Well, if Jason King happens to still be in the building, I was reading a comment or a conversation going on between him and Judd at the time, and I'd like to know if I could get him on the next card.
All right, so we're looking at Jeramie Hollway calling out Jason King. Maybe that's a fight our matchmaker can set up.
I'll go down to 65, wherever I need to go. I'll come see you.
Sounds good. Everybody, very impressive performance. Put your hands together for Jeramie Hollway.
After tensions ran high at weigh-ins, Josh Carter looks to defend his home turf against Solon Staley next on Valor Fights.
I'm Randy the Real Deal Stamey out of Striker MMA in Bristol, Virginia, and you're watching VALOR Fights on Fox 43.
Mixed martial arts returns to the Dickie Warren Dome in Blountville on March 14th with Apex 5. Pro-Am cage fighting in the Tri-Cities featuring local stars such as Dustin Walden, Dustin Long, Stoney Hill, Stephen New, Randy Stamey, and much more. Doors open at 5 p.m. and tickets will be available at the door and are on sale right now at ValorFights.com for Apex 5 in Blountville on March 14th.
VALOR Fights 18. This is your co-main event of the evening, brought to you by Oval, and will be in the VALOR Bantamweight division. Your referee for this bout will be Jeramie introducing first, fighting out of the Hog's red corner with a record of 5 wins and only 2 defeats. He weighed in 136 pounds. Fighting out of the murder squad in Columbia, South Carolina, Solon Staley. Standing across the cage, fighting tonight out of the OEP blue corner with an undefeated pro record of 3 wins and no defeats. He weighed in 135 pounds. Fighting out of Big Factory in Sevierville, Tennessee,
Solon Staley's been finishing guys, be it knockout or submission, since his early days as an amateur. So this is a fight where you can really just kind of expect the unexpected to happen. The outcome could come at any time.
Very excited for this matchup. Definitely co-main event worthy, if not main event even. Josh Carter here in Fit Factory got a ton of fans. Solon Staley looking to come and upset Josh Carter in his hometown.
Such a difference in just the frame between two guys. Staley's shorter fighter, but obviously very built, very muscular. Josh Carter's got that long and lean thing going, but he's got some power as well. When Isaac Fine trained at Fit Factory, I heard stories about Josh Carter, picking up and double-legging and slamming Isaac Fine. So
yeah, Carter's not a small guy. Staley obviously the more muscle on his frame, but it looks like Carter actually has the larger frame of the two.
I'll tell you, I've trained with Josh Carter. That inside leg kick he's throwing is nasty. But I've trained with Carter. Carter's one of the strongest I don't mean to say little guy, but strongest 135ers I've ever had the experience of wrestling and rolling with. But you've got to watch out for the guillotine.
Staley's going for it.
Solon Staley has a nasty guillotine. Look how jacked he is. Of course he has a nasty guillotine.
See those muscles just bulging in his arms now as he's trying to hook it, but I don't think he's got it.
One thing about fighting for a guillotine like that, if you don't get it, a lot of times you risk burning your arms out.
Yeah, you're going to blow yourself out.
Especially when you are a man that's built like Staley. You have all that blood pumping to all that muscle mass. Sometimes it can be a bad thing if you don't get it.
What Josh can do right here is one of my favorite things to do. What Josh needs to do is stick his right hand between the legs of Solon Staley and just lift him up, and he'll get a good slam and be in side control for the guillotine. It's one of my favorite moves to go for when somebody's going for a guillotine like that.
I mean, it's hard to tell from this vantage point. I don't think he's got it hooked.
No, he don't. He don't.
When you look at the position of his right arm,
I think at this point it's kind of like holding the wolf by the ears. You don't want to be there, but you don't want to let it go either.
Yeah.
He knows he doesn't have it, but he don't want to get that breakaway point and allow Carter to tee off on him.
Carter's about got his head out altogether, and there it goes.
Look for Carter to open up with some knees right here in the clinch. Carter's got very good, control. Like I said, there's the knee.
Carter also probably the biggest ticket draw. He does train at Fit Factory just down the road here in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. So always draws a big house when he fights here at the Smoky Mountain Convention Center.
Yeah, he's probably less than 5 miles from his gym, which is always fun to do. We've had some fights at our gym before, which is even more fun. But Josh is just a superior athlete, and I'm sure Solon is crazy athletic as well. But I mean, Josh's biggest thing is probably watching out for the guillotine at this point right here, just against Solon, just in the clinch. Separates with a nice little hook.
Now I have to see what happens here. Obviously Carter's going to be wary of the guillotine from here, but you got to wonder, like you guys said, Staley's ability to hook it after all that pressure, all that stress on the arms. Staley did a lot of work unsuccessfully trying to hook that submission maneuver.
See if Carter looks to set up that low kick again, or maybe a knee.
Staley's got good head movement, you know. He has some flash knockouts himself, and a big overhand right there.
Heck of a right hand. The thing about Carter, too, is he seems to have a chin. I've never seen him drop or wobble or nothing like that.
Good takedown defense by Carter here.
Excellent takedown defense. Way to switch his hips and really get them legs out of there.
You know, he went against last May, I think, Adam. We were here commentating for it. Him and Zach Hicks. Zach Hicks kind of threw Carter around like a rag doll with some of those takedowns early. Carter came back, won the fight by submission in the 3rd round. MMA Insider Pro Fight of the Year nominee, by the way. But now Staley, and we've talked about control, guys, and right now Staley does have the control. He's got Josh's back up against that fence, which, you know, that's going to look good for him and the judges if this fight does go the distance.
Yeah, Staley's doing a good job pressuring him. That being said, he's not really doing much with the pressure. Carter doing a good job kind of nullifying it, not getting a takedown. Also has the overhooks there to prevent him from punching. You know, Staley being the smaller guy has the leverage if he can just use it.
And Carter's got good stand-up, too. He doesn't show it that often, but, you know, he was undefeated, I believe, as an amateur in kickboxing. He's able to spin Staley.
Over-under by Carter.
But where he's got that reach advantage, Adam, I mean, do you think we might see Carter go to that stand-up, you know, at some point during this fight?
Carter, you know, he's well-rounded. You know, he's really working on the legs of Staley, and that's something that a lot of the fans and stuff, until you've really been in, that's will open up. But another thing, too, Cage is slick tonight, apparently. Another thing, too, is Josh Carter's a southpaw. Solon Staley is an orthodox fighter. So that's the thing you got to watch out for, is the straight right hand and the straight left hand from Carter, or the straight right hand from Solon Staley. A little Uchimata attempt right there, a little judo action.
Also probably worth noting, you know, this fight in the bantamweight division, and Staley has never lost in a 135-pound fight. So that's, you know, maybe that plays in his factor. I don't know if he's fought. There's not a lot of bantamweights out there who are as tall and rangy as Carter, though.
Yeah, and that does have to make a difference, especially with the striking. But the thing that's going on right now is Carter's actually controlling the grappling. He's controlling once he's on the cage. Even when Staley had him against the cage, you know, Carter was doing a good job nullifying all of his offense.
Trading some
the crowd
shots here.
Wants some UFC.
That's the end of the 1st round. One round in the books here in our co-main event. Bantamweights Josh Carter and Solon Staley here at VALOR Fights 18. And guys, I'd have to give that 1st round to Carter, I believe.
I agree 100% with you. Josh Carter, he controlled most of the fight, controlled the stand-up, controlled 90% of the clinch. Solon Staley had his back there just a little while. But other than that, you know, a great 1st round for Josh Carter.
I give it to Carter, but you also have to realize, you know, even though Carter had Staley at his back to the cage, Staley had that guillotine. It wasn't doing much, but he was still had some control there. Then Staley spent some time pushing Carter against the cage. Again, not doing much there, but it just goes on, you know, like what the judges saw in that. If they saw that as control, even though he really wasn't very active in those positions. So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to Staley.
Staley looks very relaxed, very fresh as this 2nd round begins. You know, you wouldn't even know he's been fighting for 5 minutes, guys, just the way he looks. Not that Carter, I don't think cardio's ever been an issue with Carter, but it just, the cool and calm composure of Staley as this round starts, and Staley bulls him up against the cage here. You know, Staley does have a good, solid ground game, Tyler.
Carter's doing a great job as soon as he gets to the cage, getting that whizzer every time. I mean, getting that whizzer and prevent himself from going down. You know, that looks very good. It looks very good to the judges when you see a guy trying to take you down and you can't get taken down. It's also a mental thing for the guy that's trying to take you down. If he knows he can't, you know, he knows he's losing that position.
And to the people that really don't know, this part of the fight right here, the clinch, is the most tiring, most grueling aspect of MMA. A lot of people think they can go out there and stand up and kickbox with somebody or wrestle or do jiu-jitsu with somebody. But when it's coming, when it's all your body against all his body, that's the most tiring it can be, period.
You say that like somebody who's been held up against the cage in New Jersey for about 15 minutes.
Most definitely.
Does that happen to you, Adam? I'm not sure.
Most definitely happened. And that's one of Tyler Mitten's you know, biggest game plans. He holds people there, he grinds them, and he really makes them. It breaks your will, you know. It shows where your heart's at, whether you can get off that cage or not.
When he's not distracting him with getting a tooth knocked out.
Yeah, a lot of people don't think it's an offensive thing, but it is, man. You know, I like to think of it. I'm not holding someone against the cage. You're pushing them through that cage. You're restricting their breathing with your shoulder. Your shoulder's in their sternum. They can't get a full breath. You are controlling them, and the second you feel them let their breath out, their legs collapse, you take them down, and you end up on top.
And Staley has been able to maintain that control here for the vast majority of this second round.
The thing that Staley's not really doing a lot of, and now he's kind of started to do it, is he's starting to get his head under the chin of Josh Carter. And being the shorter fighter, I know all about how you got to do that. That's the most important thing, is having head pressure and shoulder control and bicep or wrist control, one of the two. If you're not doing those things, like right now he don't have it, it's really not doing anything to Josh, and now he's going back to it. That's one thing he's got to do.
Absolutely. The body can't go anywhere without the head. If you're forcing someone's head to look one way, you know their body can attack you the other way. It's a very good maneuver.
Kind of shoved him away after that head kick, too. Staley, the way he just lowers his head and just comes in throwing those big sweeping roundhouse punches at him. It's not something you see out of a whole lot of MMA fighters, you know?
No, not at all. I mean, but it's a good move. You know, being a shorter fighter, like I said, I know how you got to do it. And sometimes you got to come across those, come over top of those punches, come around those punches in order to make them land. And it's something that he's doing, and he obviously does them a lot in the gym because they're landing in the fight, you know?
One thing I'm surprised with Staley is when he's holding him against the cage, you know, Carter's kind of getting his legs together, but Staley's not taking advantage of that.
Staley had his back for just a second there, but he wasn't able to maintain that
Beautiful
position.
Scramble.
They landed kind of awkwardly there, and now Carter lands in the advantageous position.
Looks like Solon Staley's going for a super high percentage Kimura from side control. See that finished in a lot of fights these days. But is an incredible scramble by Josh Carter.
A little bit of humor there, I think, by Adam Townsend describing the percentages. I got to check his math, I think, on that one, Tyler.
That's a very high percentage, probably a 13 or 14% move.
Math and Adam Townsend don't mix.
It works 60% of the time, every time.
Yeah. Staley's looking for a sweep here. Carter's doing a real good job keeping his weight on him, though. You know, Carter's weight's a little high on him, but I feel like he's able to hold him down there. He's nullifying his hips. I think it's a good position for Carter to be in right now.
Well, I would say this is when I would expect Tyler Minton to start advocating for Josh starts throwing some knees there. And there he goes there. Maybe a couple of them.
Those little pot shots, they matter. You know, they add up. 100 little shots to the head add up. You know, a lot of times they add up more than just one big shot to the head. And we have to remember, Staley's controlled the round so far. Staley's had Carter's back to it. Well, now this is the part where Carter's in control, but Carter has to do something with it. He needs to be throwing punches, throwing strikes to nullify that position and solidify it.
Yeah, look for Solon to explode up and hop out of this and hop back to his feet, because using the butterfly guard like he's using, that's something Casey Oxendine's been working with me on. And, you know, it's really lets people get up.
Josh has his back,
but he's way high. And as Sloan being as short as he is, it's going to be super hard for Josh to stay on his back right now.
And if Staley's able to buck him off, then Carter could potentially land in a bad spot, Adam.
Carter's got to fight for those hooks, man.
Yeah. Carter's way too high right now. Sloan's going to explode right here in a second and pop right out the back door. Unless Carter can catch an arm or a triangle or something like that, Sloan's going to be out right here.
I can hear Gene Click screaming some sort of instruction to Josh Carter. Can't pick up exactly what he's saying. I'm not sure it's hard for me to tell right now, guys, exactly what Josh is going for. Maybe an arm. Final 10 seconds. It's kind of a battle on the ground here as we wrap up this second round. Round 3 getting ready to begin here in this co-main event. And gentlemen, on my unofficial scorecard, I would have this fight a round apiece right now. What are your thoughts?
I think that's fair to say. I think Staley took that round. Staley spent a lot more time pushing Carter to the cage. I would like to see Staley be a little bit more active on that. Once Carter puts his legs together, kind of pulling down. Carter's doing a really good job not getting taken down, but he's not using that to his advantage to actually get out once he blocks the takedown.
I agree, but I still got the fight. I've still got the fight going to Carter. I've got 2 rounds up for Carter. I guess I'm Team Moto Bester right now, I guess is what I can say. Solon Staley's putting up a hell of a fight. He's landing some hard punches. Solon Staley's corner walked out about 30 seconds early. I don't know what was up with that, but it was a very interesting
You can hear the crowd. Definitely a Josh Carter-friendly crowd here at the Smoky Mountain Convention Center, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Staley coming out. Both guys very active here in round 3. Both close fight.
Both guys fighting like they think they're down a round, which is really awesome. You know, I think both guys see it in their eyes. They might be 1-1. They might be losing the round. They don't know, so they're both coming out trying to finish in this round.
That makes for an exciting fight. Oh, Staley going for the guillotine, but I don't think. He gets his head out. You wonder if maybe, you know, the failed attempt at the guillotine in the first, maybe taking away some of the strength and the power of Staley as he's going for that.
He's going for the super high percentage.
The Adams Ham's second favorite submission behind the arm triangle.
That really is most definitely my favorite submission.
Another scramble on the mat here, and back against the cage where I've really not seen either guy have a clear advantage so far, Tyler.
Yeah, I feel like both fighters have done good getting their guy there. They're just not capitalizing on it. They're not bringing their guy down. You know, they're not throwing a lot of strikes from there. And I think that could very much play the difference in this round. The guy who controls his opponent against the cage but actually does something with that could very much pull out this round.
You know, we've seen a lot of crazy stuff here at VALOR 18. You know, probably not the most exciting fight that we've seen here, but sometimes when you match two explosive guys, two guys who know how to finish, you get these kind of fights. It's kind of sort of stalemate fights, for lack of a better term, you know.
Yeah, and a lot of two guys kind of going there with a similar game plan. You're going to see that every time.
Nice takedown from Carter. You know, Carter showing some good control. He's in a little bit of a guillotine right now. Probably not a lot of trouble. Yeah, maybe he is in some trouble, actually. Oh, yeah, now that's kind of deep right there.
Hard to see.
He's got to get Carter's head to the ground. If he wants to pull that off, Carter's head has to be on the ground.
Hard to see exactly how deep it is where they're way on the other side. Carter's head down. Oh, my goodness.
Wow, head not on the ground. Wrong. I was
third round submission.
Josh Carter suffers his first pro loss. Solon Staley with a third round guillotine.
All Carter needed to do was keep his left hand inside of the opposite arm and posture up and put shoulder pressure in to get that. But heck of a win from Solon Staley. I mean, he comes in down 2 rounds, in my opinion, gets the third round finish, boys. That's hard to do.
He has silenced this Pigeon Forge crowd. Solon Staley with the submission victory here at VALOR 18.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee Jimmy has called a stop to this fight. 1 minute 58 seconds in the third round. Your winner by submission via guillotine choke, Solon Staley.
I'm here with your winner, Solon Staley, Staley going into the third round. It was a tough fight. You came out with a lot of aggression. Your corner telling you were down 2?
No, I knew I was down 2. I done been in fights like this plenty of times where the guy's pushing on me and just sitting there trying to hold me, and that's where I got my 2 losses from, and it was not going to happen tonight.
All right, what's next for you?
Hey, February 28th, I'm going home to my state, South Carolina, and we're going 7-2, and whoever next, that's who's next.
Your winner, put your hands together, Solon Staley.
Up next, we take a closer look at Shield Systems on VALOR Fights.
Hey guys, I'm Scott Holtzman, UFC Lightweight. You're watching the VALOR Fighting Championships on Fox 43.
Before our main event, we take a closer look at Shield Systems, located in Knoxville, Tennessee, and home to many of the area's top stars, including UFC Lightweight Scott Hot Sauce Holtzman, former VALOR kickboxing champion Damer Feretbegovic, and tonight's headliner Amy Donkey Kong Coleman. Coleman had a stellar amateur career, and tonight will make her pro debut against Ohio's undefeated Jessica Zomcik in the main event here on VALOR Fights.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your VALOR 18 features bout in the women's bantamweight division, brought to you by VALOR 19 and 20. Your referee when the action begins is Josh Ward. Into the first, fighting out of the Hogs red corner with an undefeated record of 2 wins and no losses. She weighed 136 pounds. Fighting involved in Medina, Ohio, Jessica the Zombie Zomcik. Standing across the face, fighter in the OEB blue corner. Tonight she makes her professional debut. She weighing 139 pounds. Playing a Shield Systems in Knoxville, Tennessee. Amy Donkey Kong Coleman.
muscular girl, and being a judo black belt, you got to think that does play into her favor.
You know, Coleman came in as she scores the kind of the takedown and some punches.
Told you she don't care to pull guard.
Coleman was, you know, a really hot prospect as an amateur, but you lost her final 2 amateur fights, so both finished in both. So a little bit of a momentum, absence as she makes her pro debut here, gentlemen.
Most definitely, and going to get somebody that's 2-0 as a pro and already used to the 15-minute, fights and things like that makes a huge difference.
Very, very odd decision from Zomcik to actually clinch up with a judo black belt. That kind of surprises me.
Zomcik's been around, though. She's had, I believe she had almost 20 amateur fights, 2 pro fights compared to none for Coleman. She's been fighting for a long time. Coleman just made her debut, about 3 years ago. So there's a definite experience gap for Coleman in this fight.
Yeah, and as you notice that the Amy, she's the one trying to break away from the clinch, and the Zombie's the one that's coming forward wanting to engage in the clinch. So they must have seen something in Coleman's game that makes them want to do that.
One of the cooler fighter nicknames. I guess we can say there's a zombie apocalypse in Pigeon Forge if Zomcik wins tonight.
Nice boxing. Good little head kick.
Nice
angle from Coleman.
Coleman's showing more stand-up than I've seen from her in the past. She's been content to use that judo, get opponents down and use that ground and pound to wear them out. Showing some boxing and some kickboxing here.
Might be looking to kind of prove a point with her last 2 losses, come in here and show that she's comfortable, she's changed, she's ready for all angles.
Another head kick.
Zombie walking right through him, proving her nickname to be correct,
Hopefully they're not paying her in brains. But anyway.
Oh, good right hand from Zomcik.
Zomcik is legit. I mean, also was a high school football player, played semi-pro women's football, offensive line. Yeah,
that's incredible.
We talked to her over at MMA Insider about it, and actually had to quit playing football for a back injury. Started going into MMA to help the back, and here she is now as a pro fighter, undefeated pro, as they clinch up, and there she goes to that guard, guys.
See, that's the thing that Amy's had trouble with in her last amateur fights. She's been caught in some wild submissions. She's faded a little bit in the later rounds and got put in trouble. This is like the fight with the much anticipated, the much wanted rematch with Shanna Young. That's a fight that's got like 15,000 views on YouTube. It's a fight of the year. MMA Insider Fight of the Year, was it not, Mr. Morales?
It was MMA Insider 2013 Amateur Fight of the Year.
That's what I'm saying. So she just puts herself in bad positions in later rounds of fights, and she's looking. Zomcik is fishing for an armbar right here.
Tyler, I don't know how many of Amy's fights you've seen in person. What are your impressions of the action so far here?
Man, I'm kind of surprised by both girls. They're both not doing what I expected. Coleman actually doing a little bit more striking than I would expected, pushing out of the clinch. Zomcik actually being aggressive and going for the clinch. I can't wrap my head around that. That's very surprising to see someone do that against a judo black belt. But it might just be playing on the fact that they probably did not suspect Coleman to expect that.
Coleman's obviously a strong girl. I mean, she's just she's just like controlling her with her legs and stuff like that on the ground. It's pretty impressive, really, to see her just posturing up and throwing punches like she's doing.
Also worth noting, Coleman did miss weight for this fight, I believe by 3 pounds. So
139. Yep.
Yeah, 139. Could have weighed in at 136. So that might be a factor too. Maybe a conditioning factor for Coleman where she wasn't able to make the weight.
I don't think it's a condition factor. I think that she's just that big of a girl. I mean, not in a bad way, of course.
But she's made 135 before. Would be my point,
But as you get older and as you make weight, as we know, Tyler, that weight gets harder to make each and every time you do it, and each and every time you allow yourself to blow back up in between fights.
Yeah, man, making weight's a lot of times the hardest part of fighting. It's harder than the actual fight itself. So we never really know what was going on in a fighter's camp that kind of kept them from making the weight. So, for us to sit outside and just sit here and wonder, we never can really tell.
Stands him up here. We're entering nearing the end of the first round, so chance for Zomcik to maybe try to do something. I think it's been a round that Coleman's controlled for the most part.
Most definitely.
No signs of intimidation or anything like that in her first pro fight against a 2-0 pro. Been pretty impressive.
Now, something that Zomcik's done good is when Coleman throws the outside leg kick, then Zomcik does a little straight right hand and catches her every time.
You guys go.
Still got an electric monkey energy drink in the house. The official.
Well, one round of the books, Tyler Midden. Who do you have winning that round?
Man, that's a really tough one. I think I'm actually going to give that one to Zomcik. I thought it was really cool how she just kind of came forward and took Coleman's game plan to Coleman, clinched her. I just think that really weighs a lot when you can take a fighter and you can actually beat them at what they're good at.
I can agree with that. I see the fight just going a little bit differently. I thought that Amy, she's probably on top for the whole last probably minute and a half, and also landed some big head kicks too. But she did get control against the cage a few times. Pulling guard's pulling guard. It don't really count for a takedown, but you're still on your back. So I'm gonna go 10-9 for Coleman on that round.
All right, here we go. Round 2 getting ready to begin here, and a lot of support here for Coleman. Clearly, got a UFC fighter, Scott Holtzman, in the corner. That's always got to help things. One of those other Shield Systems products. He's also been training there fairly regularly at the MMA lab there in Arizona. One of the more formidable gyms, I think, really in the country at this point.
Cool things about fights like this, there's that misconception that girl fights are just wild cat fights and they're scraps. And you have girls that come out here like this and they have like a really good solid game plan. They look real professional out there. This isn't a cat fight, man. These are professional athletes just like men, just like anyone else, and they're showing that.
Nice little head kick, try to come high. Oh, both of them check the kick. That did not feel good. A lot of people don't understand how bad kicks and elbows and things like that hurt too.
Really
even if you're landing them. If you're landing the kick, if you're landing the knee or an elbow, it still hurts you too. I mean, a lot of people don't understand that. And there's that straight right hand again as she throws that outside kick that I was talking about earlier.
I'm really impressed with the way Coleman's stand-up has progressed since the last time I've seen her. Throwing those high head
together.
kicks.
She's going to get a takedown right here. She's going to take a ride for a double right here, I believe. She just needs to suck her legs out.
Coleman up.
Nice takedown from Zomcik. Nice double leg. What she done right there was she lowered her. She dropped her level. She didn't drop to her knees. She didn't use her back. She didn't put her butt up in the air. She actually lowered her level, kept her shoulders up, kept her butt down, grabbed her around the knees, and took her right down, which was perfect technique for that.
And now Zomcik kind of trying to stack Coleman, it looks like. Tyler, what do you think? What do you think needs to happen here for Zom? What do you think she's going to land? Elbow there.
I think Zomcik's doing exactly what she needs to do.
With the power of Coleman.
Might have spoke too soon.
One leg.
Coleman player pushing it out. Coleman's got to be careful because Zomcik is going to come forward.
The power of Amy Coleman. She's always been such a strong fighter. There's that judo. So raining down some ground and pound here, and just
the zombie's still very composed.
The complexion of this round changed in a hurry, guys, with that just pushing her off with one leg.
Zomcik was doing a very good job. Looked like she had her just where she needed her. All of a sudden, Coleman explodes up, rains some amazing punches. I mean, very, very, very much to control that little exchange. That was crazy.
And now we're back where we were. Zomcik trying to catch a submission, but
who knows the how much cardio that took out of Coleman from that. But that's right, pulling guard again. That is not where she wants to be. I'm sorry. Not with somebody as big and strong as Amy Coleman on top of you. Not at all.
Zomcik definitely kind of an unorthodox style, Tyler. You've come up with a BJJ black belt yourself there, Casey Oxendine. But even with a BJJ specialist, you won't see somebody just willingly go into their back like that and into a guard the way that Jessica is doing in this fight.
Yeah, with mixed martial arts, I like to say that if you're a pulling guard, if you have someone in your guard, you're only winning once you've won. It's really hard to win around when someone's in your guard. So it's very odd to me that she keeps going to that position against a much larger opponent who's been doing good in her guard.
Coleman with a hammer fist that almost kind of echoed through the Smoky Mountain Convention Center here.
Coleman's doing a perfect job on posturing up when she's throwing her punches. She's staying in compact and keeping bicep control, which is the most important thing when you're in someone's guard. If you've got control of their biceps, they can't submit you pretty much in any way.
Well, and
then she's posturing up and landing some big bombs off of her. But Zomcik, she's looking to work a little rubber guard right here. It's where you control your opponent's body with your leg and your hand at the same time.
I think this shows the composure of Zomcik too. She doesn't care to be on her back. She doesn't care for someone to be raining punches down on her because she knows that at any split second she could get that submission.
Oh, she's going for an armbar. Nasty armbar right here. Maybe a sweep even. She's going for a pendulum sweep.
Gets that
now
leg
she caught an
over
armbar
the face.
and she pops out.
Now we see that
Coleman raining down hammer fist. Coleman, and she stops the fight.
Just like that.
Amy Coleman. Wow. Incredible second round TKO from Amy Coleman.
Amy Coleman. She puts those two amateur losses in the rearview mirror. comes out of here with a very impressive second-round TKO victory, and this crowd is loving it, guys. Adam, what'd you see there on the finish?
I just saw brutal, nasty hammer fist. She postured up, and like I was talking about, she postures up and then throws her punches. She don't just lay down and throw wild punches. She postures up, makes the little punches count, and they counted obviously right there with the TKO.
I think that's where you see the difference in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and mixed martial arts. You know, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that's a good place to be. It's okay to be on your back. It's okay to be playing that guard. But this is the hurt game. This isn't a BJJ competition. You got to go like Amy Coleman, postures up, starts raining down punches. You can do all you want, but if those start landing, you know, you really can't do much about that.
We're going to go to Cody for the official announcement of the decision. Once again, your winner, second round TKO, Amy Coleman.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Judd Brown is going to stop this fight. 3 minutes and 36 seconds in the second round. Your winner by TKO, Amy.
I'm here with your winner, Amy Donkey Kong Coleman. Amy, now tell me, why the nickname Donkey Kong?
I mean, did you guys see the end with all those hammer fists? That's how I got my name.
Very good performance tonight. You're going against a real savvy veteran, good jiu-jitsu and everything. You lost your last 2 matches, I believe, by submission. So how does that feel? You dealt with her guard and stopped her from the guard.
I mean, it feels incredible. She's great. She's, I mean, super experienced, well-rounded everywhere. So just for me to be able to close those gaps in my game is an awesome feeling, and I owe it all to my coaches.
It's a great performance. Go ahead and give some shout-outs.
Well, first, I'd like to thank my coach, Ben Harrison, for putting up with me and making me the fighter I am today. For my mentors like Scott Holtzman and all my other teammates in the crowd. All the fans that are here supporting me. My sponsors, Ogle Elrod Burrell, Phil Auer, Fulgham and McIndoe, and just, you know, Valor in general for always bringing me back and letting me bring all my friends and family with me.
Good job. Everybody put your hands together. Amy Donkey Kong Coleman.
If you enjoyed the show, be sure you come check out VALOR Fights Live. Here's a look at our upcoming schedule, including dates in Blountville, Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Knoxville, Tennessee. Tickets are available for VALOR Fights at valorfights.com.